Peter Jackson, director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy. Now, you remember that New Line Cinema produced, and I think they're just straight up owned by Warner at this point. I don't know, though. And of course, Warner is owned by Paramount, probably. Things are getting a little. I remember in the 90s, they actually used to worry about antitrust. Now they
don't care.
Yeah, it feels like nobody gives a damn. But anyway, New Line Cinema produced the Lord of the Rings movies. And I think in order to hold on to the rights, they have to continue to make Lord of the Rings movies. And so remember that like Ride of the Rohirrim or War of the Rohirrim animated film, which wasn't bad. It just wasn't very it wasn't worthy of the Lord of the Rings name.
It felt like an obligation to keep the rights.
Yeah. It was like, well, what if we just spent a bunch of money on an animation? We put it in theaters and it always flops. Like RLM recently did a video. It was like, what are these, one of their kind of like, what are these movies montages? And it was, I thought it was really funny. They were like, has anyone ever heard of it? No. Was a lot of money spent on it? Yes. Was it successful? No. It lost tons of money.
That could explain anything, like so many things.
It's very curious. And at least in the case of these franchises, being a box office success is secondary to retaining the rights, probably. So you got Amazon over here adapting whatever it is that they're allowed to adapt for Rings of Power, which I can't even say out loud without thinking of the Sega Genesis game by Naughty Dog with the tits. But then over here, you got Warner with Peter Jackson, like having to retain the rights. So you remember, like, I don't know, now like 2 years ago, they announced that Andy Serkis would be directing a movie called The Hunt for Gollum.
Yeah, I was going to say The Quest for Gollum. Yeah, The Hunt for Gollum.
The War for Gollum.
Does that feel like a story that needs to be told? Like, does that feel like there's a mystery there?
No. No, it's very easily inferred that he was found. But they were like, no. Aragorn is going to be looking for him. While Frodo was in the Shire, awaiting exposition about the ring from Gandalf, this shit was going down. And boy, is there a story here. I'm like, something tells me the story is a lot smaller than the rest of the story, but they're going to do it. And then it'd be one thing if they got Viggo Mortensen back and they somehow beautified him back into looking 40. But they're not. He said he's not playing Aragorn, so you're gonna recast Aragorn.
You can't improve on perfection, really. That's That's like my masculine role model when I was age. Like when I saw that, I was like, "This is a man. This is a man. He accepts his responsibility. That's it."
Well, so Hunt for Gollum, and when I first heard that, I was like, geez, that really, really sounds like a fan film. And it turned out somebody actually did, in fact, make a movie called The Hunt for Gollum, like some YouTube shit. And I was like, of course they did.
Are they running in the woods?
Yeah, of course. I assume that the movie opens with somebody panting. See, now they've got those AI fan films, right? Have you seen this shit?
No.
They would get the guy who could impersonate Harrison Ford really well, and they'd make a Han Solo short film in the desert, and they'd be like, the desert is Tatooine. And you'd be impressed. You'd be like, wow, they really put a lot of money into a movie that can't possibly make its money back because of the copyright. And it wasn't super watchable, but they'd use John Williams' score and stuff, and it was pretty good. But now they're out there like with whatever sea dance and shit, making like, here's Luke Skywalker. And this is a little short film 10 minutes before he shows up in A New Hope doing Beggar's Canyon or whatever. And like,
doesn't what's his name? Star Wars McMuscles. Doesn't he do stuff like that? Star Wars Theory.
Star Wars McMuscles. That's probably how I even heard about it, was he was like reacting to those movies.
Oh, okay.
So I think even he was like, all right, there's a shelf life on hating Star Wars. So obviously he's a fan, but he, I think most of the views come from like, can you believe Kathleen Kennedy?
He's gone beyond that now.
The whole channel at first was, is it possible that Mace Windu did survive when he was thrown out of the Mace window?
Mace Windu.
It'd be like, he cuts to a comic book that somewhat supports the claim. And, it's all that sort of shit. There's another guy, Stupendous Wave. And he has an even more sing-songy voice.
At the end of his life, Windu was considered the best lightsaber duelist alive, as he had defeated the likes of Sora Bulk, General Grievous, Asajj Ventress, and even to some extent, Darth Sidious.
He's got like this ridiculous narration. I'm like, only on YouTube could you get away with this shit. But yeah, and then I think after he was like, you know what? I admit it. I don't like Last Jedi. And then, of course, that kind of like attracts different kinds of audience. And then, you know, before eventually you get to the Acolyte, you're talking shit about the Acolyte and you can't help yourself, but get an audience of people who hate Star Wars. But I think he's trying to kind of like make the channel something.
Where I want to go after this, of course, focus more on Theory Sabers, grow that, and then start on episode 3. And I want to focus on me a little bit. I want to take some vacations. I want to enjoy life a little bit. For the last 2 years, it's taken a toll.
Well, although probably the way he got the most views was crying over Luke Skywalker.
I don't have words, man. I couldn't be happier.
So it is like, it's a mix of people who love the franchise and are pissed off at the franchise. But I think like, it's just kind of, it's come to its logical conclusion. Like there's no passion left to hate the thing, right? Like even if Acolyte season 2 came out, there'd be no hate boner for it because there's nothing left to, you know, it's like,
yeah, no, I would love it if Acolyte season 2 came out.
Yeah, we would enjoy it.
I would love it. I wouldn't hate it.
It's like being mad at your ex who you broke up with 15 years ago. You're like, yeah, I know she was a bitch, but it's over. It's over, Johnny.
Nothing is over.
Anyway, back to Lord of the Rings. So Hunt for Gollum, God help us. But you know, I think the only saving grace about it is Andy Serkis is going to be directing it. So, okay, he's like passionate about Gollum. The story has to take place during a time where Gollum's alive. I'm sure they'll throw in a lot of flashbacks. Maybe you make a big Gollum movie. And so you would get to, Gollum was one of the most interesting things about the original trilogy. His scene in The Hobbit is one of the most compelling scenes in The Hobbit. Maybe whatever, if that's what you have to, he's probably a bankable character to the extent that any character is bankable anymore. But then a new announcement comes out. And I'm telling Nina about it, and she's like, it's not April 1st yet. But back when it was announced, I was like, this is like the most April Foolsy shit. So it's like a portrait video on social media of Peter Jackson. I'm so very tired, very addicted to some sort of painkiller. And he's like, exhausted like he was in those intros.
I was able to wing it right up until the point that I had to start shooting this very intricate battle. I couldn't wing that, really. I did need to know what the hell I was doing and have a plan.
It's past my nap time, but I want to give this announcement.
So he goes, like, you're going to be very excited to hear that the Hunt for Gollum is going to be shooting in Meta, in whatever. He's like, yeah, big update on that. And he goes, but now we also would like to announce a new movie will be made.
But that is not the only Tolkien movie that we're developing. We've actually got another film that we'll be making after Hunt for Gollum.
Yet another fan film will be made. And he's like, so I've brought on a very special guest. And there's like a newspaper, I think. And then it like dramatically whips down and it's Stephen fucking Colbert.
Urge to kill rising.
Did you see this yet, EJ? Am I telling you this for the first time?
You're telling me this for the first time? Yeah, what? Okay, so back in the Colbert Report, back when he was funny, he had a lot of knowledge of Lord of the Rings. Like he's very much a fan.
Do this. Oh, slender as a willow wand, oh, clearer than clear water, oh, reed by the living pool, fair river daughter, oh, springtime and summertime and spring again after, oh, wind on the waterfall and the leaves' laughter.
He knew his stuff. Like, so it doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, I don't want to see him.
Yeah, I'm not like, yay! Lord of the Rings, something that is already perfect as 3 movies, is saved. But he's like, hey, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Yeah, my son and I were talking about this idea we had for a Lord of the Rings movie, and we pitched it to you. So my son's a screenwriter too. And, of course, we're huge fans of Tolkien. And we thought, you're brilliant films, Peter. They didn't adapt whatever chapters 3, 4, and 5 or something of Fellowship of the Ring. So he's talking about the Tom Bombadil shit around that point. And he's like, so we were thinking, wouldn't it make a wonder? And we had this great idea for a wonderful movie that would just be those chapters, and it would be consistent with the book, and we would make it consistent with the Peter Jackson films too. It would just like slot in. And the working title is Lord of the Rings, Shadow of the Past. And I'm like, what's with the fucking fan fiction titles?
Yeah, these are titles of like video games. Like, video games would always have things like this, like Shadows of Mordor or whatever. Yeah, definitely.
Lord of the Rings, Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows, Dark Alliance.
Dark Alliances, yes, at Mortal Kombat.
Deadly Alliance.
But yeah, man, so that's what's happening. And much the way Hunt for Gollum is like, okay, so you're going to recast Aragorn and all this.
We're going to recast Aragorn a second time.
Yeah, it brings up a lot more questions than it answers. A lot more questions than it answers. Like, so you said it's going to be consistent with the movies. So I believe the main characters of these chapters are the hobbits, yes? So you're going to bring back the old men hobbits and put them back in the feet and all that? I mean, maybe you can make them look, I mean, they're not that old. I think Billy Boyd, though, is probably like 55 by this point. I mean, they're not spring chicken. They're not the kids that were in the first movies.
I feel like on social media, I always see like reunions with them like every week. Like every week they're having a reunion. And they look older and older every time. Yeah.
Yeah, they get grayer and grayer hair. I mean, of course, they're all in shape except for poor Sean Astin, who's now in charge of the Screen Actors Guild. He just looks like an old grandpa. You definitely could not bring him back. It's not possible in his current state to bring him back for Shadow of the Past. This would be Shadow of the Future. This would be a look into the specter of death. The other ones, could you slap a wig on them and pretend the wrinkles weren't there? Maybe.
I mean,
I also think in their older age, they look a little skinnier and taller, like in a way that would be. I feel like Frodo, when they brought him back for the Hobbit, he looked like real tall for a fucking 4 foot tall Hobbit.
Yeah, because they had babier faces and little fuller faces. Now they're all like they're all rail thin, bony and up,
bony old behind, bony old behind, bony old behind. So we have no idea who's going to direct this thing, but are you hearing what I'm saying? There's going to be 2 movies that take place at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, we already know where it goes. You didn't need them. You didn't need the Bombadil horseshit. You didn't.
Like, wouldn't you say that like the better? I mean, if you must do a Shadows of the Empire style movie where it's like, here are the events that you didn't see or something. Don't you think maybe like following Éomer, wherever he went off to for a while, maybe that could be a movie? Probably not. I just think there's like other places in Middle Earth to go besides like that same fucking ground, which is,
Yeah, there's like different ages. We don't have to do Rings of Power, obviously, but
no. Or you could have done. I mean, Rings of Power. I think that for me, obviously, it's shitty for a million reasons. Like every reason is why it's shitty. But I think like just from a story perspective, the whole like the forging of the rings thing is not really because that just gets you. It's like Star Wars. Like it just always brings you back to like the Darth Vader and the Jedi, and it's like get away from all of it. Maybe do like Numenor a long time ago. Tell a really good story about like a lineage or something. And for that reason, I thought that War of the Rohirrim movie was like not terrible. Like you could totally watch it. And I mean, it kicks the shit out of Rings of Power.
Right.
And the animation's cool. I remember the sound design was really cool in that movie. Like in a theater, I was like, oh, really good sound design.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like Game of Thrones. Like, we watched Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Like, they're not retreading old. It takes place in the same world, but it's a different character. It's a different story. It's not like about like Ned Stark's, baby or something. Like, it's nothing like baby Ned Stark. It's nothing like that. It's just a different story in the same universe. It tries to be its own thing. You could do that with Lord of the Rings. You don't have to be like, we're doing Peter Jackson's in between thing. Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Oh, get this. Let's read the plot because I don't think they were super clear about it in the little cute video. 14 years after the presumed passing of Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin. So yeah, they're bringing these hobbits back. They're going to have to get a trainer for fucking Sean Astin. Set out to retrace the first steps of their adventure. Meanwhile, Sam's daughter, Eleanor, has discovered a long-buried secret and is determined to uncover why the War of the Ring was very nearly lost before it even began. So they're going to do chapters 3, 4, and 5 or whatever as like a framing device, as like a flashback.
That's what I'm guessing.
And Sam's daughter will be like, I'm important.
I figured out I'm important.
She learns a dark fucking secret that she's important.
Maybe she finds out like the troubling past, like Frodo. Frodo was actually evil all along or something.
Oh yeah, right. Gandalf covered up the crime. We heard, did we not? Was this confirmed that if season 2 of The Acolyte happened,
Yoda would be covering up sex crimes?
Move him to a different temple, I will. His perverted Jedi.
We don't talk about Jedi Island.
It says here that the cast is ready. You're going to be excited about the cast. TBA as Frodo Baggins. Paren, likely in a flashback. TBA as Samwise Gamgee. TBA as Peregrine Took. TBA as Meriadoc Brandybuck. And TBA as Eleanor, Paren, Sam's daughter.
Okay, so they could recast everybody.
They're definitely coming back as fat old men, or at least one of them, for the it's been so many years since the ring. And then maybe when they flash back, suddenly they're different kids for some reason. They're just totally different people. Again, fuck off with this crap. Just make a different movie and cast other people. Don't you dare do AI faces.
It's gonna be AI faces all over the place, all over their face. Their faces are gonna be shifting around the whole thing. It's gonna be it's gonna be so distracting.
Yeah, I feel like every time they've ever done that, we're all staring at it. We're like, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you see the real human being acting, you're like, that's completely better in every single way.
Oh yeah, every time, you see Luke Skywalker and whatever the fuck show that was.
Yeah, there were several.
There were several.
Mandalorian and Boba Fett, yeah.
Yeah, hello, I am Luke Skywalker. It's just robot, and it looks okay. You're look at it, it's I guess it's okay.
Wow, that's pretty good. No, it's not. And then you just see Return of the Jedi. You're like, oh, right. Humans.
Right, humans, yes. So even Bill Clinton and Ted was still distracting,
It was very obviously Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not totally against okay, we're gonna get a good actor, they're gonna play the role, and the CG face will basically be like a mask. It's you're putting on a costume or something. But there's the understanding that the person who's playing the role is the real actor here, is we're not pretending to be Mark Hamill, something like that. But that requires, that's a lot of cognitive backflips to get there.
You destroyed my planet! I thought it was a coffee button. This is not how diplomacy works. You owe me a planet. I'll build you a moon.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.